The butter knife glinted in the fading sunlight, a pathetic weapon in Karen's trembling hand, as she stabbed at my Tesla like it owed her money. I stood frozen on my porch, jaw dropped, watching this HOA dictator lose her mind over a car parked 2 inches past her imaginary line. By the time the police sirens wailed, I knew this was a story nobody in Oakwood Estates would forget. I'd only been in the neighborhood a month, a 32-year-old software engineer who thought moving to the suburbs would mean peace, quiet, and maybe a decent backyard barbecue. Oakwood seemed perfect manicured lawns, kids on bikes, and that wholesome vibe you see in real estate ads. My Tesla Model Y, my one big splurge after a promotion, fit right in with the shiny SUVs lining the driveways. But I hadn't counted on Karen Mitchell, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, who patrolled the streets like a hawk hunting for rule breakers. From day one, she'd had it out for me. Maybe it was the Tesla's electric hum, or the fact that I, a single guy with no kids, didn't fit her vision of family-friendly. Whatever it was, Karen made it her mission to make my life hell. It started small. A note on my windshield about my recycling bin being too visible. An email about my grass being a 1/4 inch too long. Then she escalated, banging on my door at 7 a.m. to lecture me about my mailbox's non-compliant shade of black. I tried to play nice, nodding through her rants, but Karen wasn't looking for peace. She wanted control. I heard whispers from neighbors Karen had once fined a family $500 for a kid's chalk drawing on their own driveway. Another time, she called a tow truck on a guest car for parking too close to her hydrangeas. The woman was a walking caricature, but nobody dared cross her until me, until the Tesla. The trouble really kicked off one Saturday when I parked my car in my driveway, apparently 2 inches over the invisible line where my property met the street. Karen was out there within minutes, clipboard in hand, measuring the distance like she was auditioning for CSI. "This is a violation," she shrieked, her voice carrying across the cul-de-sac. I stepped outside, coffee in hand, trying to keep it civil. "Karen, it's my driveway. I'm not blocking anything." Her eyes narrowed, and she jabbed a finger at me. "You're disrupting the aesthetic cohesion of Oakwood. I'll have this towed if you don't move it." I laughed, big mistake. Her face turned purple, and she stormed off, muttering about disrespectful millennials. By Monday, I had an official HOA notice in my mailbox, threatening a $200 fine unless I corrected my parking. I ignored it, figuring she'd move on to harassing someone else. I was wrong. Karen started circling my house daily, taking photos of my car, my lawn, even my front door's welcome mat. Neighbors warned me she was building a case to present at the next HOA meeting. I didn't take it seriously until Thursday evening, when I glanced out my window and saw her standing in my driveway, staring at my Tesla like it had personally insulted her. She was holding something, a butter knife, of all things. My gut told me this wasn't going to end well. Here's where the twist comes in. Unbeknownst to Karen, my Tesla wasn't just a car. It was a fortress on wheels, rigged with Sentry Mode, a feature that records everything around it and sends an alert to my phone if anyone gets too close. I'd turned it on after her first few drive-by photo sessions, just in case. That evening, my phone pinged with a notification, Sentry Mode activated, potential threat detected. I opened the app and saw live footage of Karen, butter knife in hand, pacing around my car like a hyena circling prey. She was muttering to herself, something about teaching you a lesson. I should have called the cops right then, but I was too stunned, watching this 50-something woman plot against my car with a kitchen utensil. The conflict exploded when she started jabbing the knife at the driver's side door. The Tesla's alarm blared, lights flashing like a disco, and Karen froze, clearly not expecting resistance from an inanimate object. She didn't stop, though. She doubled down, scraping the knife along the handle, trying to pry it open, leaving ugly scratches across the paint. My phone was blowing up with alerts, and I could see the damage in real time, $3,000 worth of paint and labor. Minimum? I bolted outside, shouting, "Karen, what the hell are you doing?" She spun around, knife still in hand, and had the audacity to yell, "This car is a menace? You're a menace." That's when I noticed the neighbors peeking out their windows, phones in hand, recording the whole fiasco. Karen was too far gone to care. The absurdity hit peak levels when she tried to justify herself. "This car doesn't belong here," she screamed, waving the butter knife like a sword. "It's too flashy, too modern. You're lowering property values." I couldn't help it. I laughed again, which only made her madder. She lunged at the car one last time, jamming the knife into the door so hard it bent. That's when the unexpected player entered the scene. Mrs. Delaney, the 80-year-old widow from across the street, who'd always kept to herself. She shuffled out in her slippers, holding a cane, and shouted, "Karen Mitchell, you're acting like a damn fool." The crowd gasped. Mrs. Delaney, the neighborhood's quiet saint, had never raised her voice in 20 years. She pointed her cane at Karen. "You've been bullying everyone for years. This stops now." Karen's face crumpled, but she wasn't done. She turned back to the Tesla, as if one final stab would win her war. That's when the police arrived. Sentry Mode had automatically sent an alert to local law enforcement when it detected aggressive behavior. 2 officers stepped out, hands on their holsters, and Karen dropped the knife like it was on fire. "This is a misunderstanding," she stammered, but the neighbors' videos were already circulating, showing her in full meltdown mode. The officers didn't buy her story. They cuffed her for vandalism and trespassing, reading her rights as she wailed about HOA regulations. The crowd cheered quietly, a mix of relief and disbelief. The aftermath was brutal for Karen. The HOA board, humiliated by the viral videos now spreading on X, stripped her of her presidency. My Tesla's repair bill came to $4,200, which Karen was ordered to pay after a quick, small claims court hearing. She tried to counter-sue, claiming I'd provoked her by parking improperly, but the judge laughed her out of court. Neighbors started talking openly about her reign of terror, turns out. She'd been extorting fines from half the block for years. The final punchline: Karen's own house was foreclosed on a month later. She'd been so busy policing everyone else's lawns that she'd neglected her own mortgage payments. Talk about karma. I still drive my Tesla, scratches long repaired, and park it wherever I damn well please. Oakwood's quieter now, with a new HOA president who actually listens. Mrs. Delaney's become a local legend, and I bring her cookies every Sunday as thanks. Karen, last I heard, she moved to an apartment complex downtown, where I bet she's already terrorizing her new neighbors. Some people never learn. What do you think? Ever dealt with a Karen who took it too far? Share your stories in the comments. I'm all ears.